Public speaking is the #1 fear in America, but Steve Rohr is out to change that. He's the publicist for the Academy Awards, a media coach, and now the author of a new book called Scared Speechless: 9 Ways to Conquer Your Fears and Captivate Your Audience. Steve's joining us today with some tips on how to get over being terrified when you stand up in front of a group. I think that's just a common thing for so many people, isn't it?
Absolutely, and we think we're the only one.
Yeah.
But like you said, it's the #1 fear in America. Death is second.
Isn't that crazy?
It's nuts.
Yeah.
But I can understand why, because we're getting up in front of strangers perhaps, we're not used to doing it, and then suddenly our nerves kick in. And all the nerve signals in our body are tingling, and our palms get sweaty, and our face gets bright red. You know the feeling, right? So we're not just talking about that formal public speaking, but we're talking about going to churches, talking at your church, talking to your PTA. So anytime you get up to give a quote-unquote speech, hey, all those nerves kick in.
Yeah, so what do you do?
Well, first of all, you have to understand what's behind the nerves, and it all happens up here.
Okay.
So our brain is a miraculous, wonderful thing, but inside our brain, there's something called the primitive brain that has not evolved as quickly as the rest, right? This is our body's natural defense department. And when we're sensing danger, it will signal the fight or flight response. You know what that is? Right. It's like either fight the audience or get the heck out of here, right? So our thinking part of our brain goes offline. Not very convenient for a public speaker, right?
For sure. Yeah, you just want to run.
Right, exactly. But the awareness is the big thing, right? Noticing that your body is changing. You're starting to get all nervous and, oh my gosh. But here's the thing. So people get, their legs start shaking, their voice starts changing, they start sweating profusely, and they're shocked every time that happens, right?
Yeah.
They know it's going to happen, but they're shocked. We have to stop being shocked by that and expect the expected. And once you expect the expected, you can just relax, and suddenly your thinking part of your brain comes back online.
You know it's going to happen, so you just kind of own it and go on?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Good. What's the importance of practicing?
Oh, practice is everything. We spend 99% of the time writing our speech and 1% or less in the car trying to get through it, right?
Right.
So when we get up to give our presentation, maybe we don't do so hot. And we think, oh, I'm a terrible speaker. No, it's because you didn't practice.
Yeah.
You can never over-practice, Meryl. It's impossible. And if you think back to the last time you gave a presentation or a talk, and the car on the ride home, inevitably you said, could it have been better? I should have practiced a little bit more. You can never over-practice.
Yeah, and often the beginning is really good because you worked on that.
Oh, yeah.
And then you don't finish well.
Yeah, people forget that we live our lives in 3 parts: a beginning, a middle, and an end. And that's what the audience is listening for. So we'll spend a great deal of time on the beginning, we'll work on the middle, and then we'll say, hey, look, the end, we'll just wing it. So this is why you see speakers get up there, start out really strong, and then halfway through, they pause and they say, well, that's all I got, and they sort of wander off into the atmosphere somewhere, right? Well, audiences remember the last thing we say.
Yeah.
It's very memorable, so we have to do beginning, middle, and end.
Yeah, and even if the middle's not so hot, if you start well and end well,
that's a great point,
well.
Exactly. So if you have a great attention getter and you have a great close, you're in business.
There's so many good tips in this book. If you ever have to stand up in front of anybody, I think you'll learn a lot from this. Steve, thanks so much.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me on the show.
Steve's book is called Scared Speechless. You won't be speechless anymore. It's available wherever books are sold.